All right, guys. Once again, a very big welcome to this particular platform, Penas TV. So, as we were saying earlier, the FIFA World Cup is coming on, and currently Ghana's path to the 2026 World Cup. We are learning that the draw details and also updated tournament is on. Now, a total of 42 countries have now secured qualification for this particular historic tournament, which will be hosted across 3 nations: Canada, United States of America, and also Mexico. Now, we are learning that the Black Stars, along with 9 other African countries, have officially been booked or have officially booked their place at the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Now, we will be taking a closer look at Ghana's potential together with its other competitors, because currently we are learning that a lot of other countries have qualified or yet to qualify because of the UEFA playoff and also the EU playoff and other stuff. Now, on the screens, you realize that Ghana is in pot 4 together with other countries like Cape Verde, Caracas, Haiti, Jordan, New Zealand, and also we are waiting for other teams who will qualify from the EU playoff and also the FIFA playoff 1 and 2. Now, in terms of the draw and also the ports, we will be watching this particular report, which is coming from Sporty FM, to give us details as to what is happening and even the way forward for Ghana as we prepare to storm the United States of America to officially begin our World Cup dreams.
See a deja vu of FIFA World Cup matches that we've seen already, and let's get the ball rolling, starting with Morocco. They were just brilliant. They are Africa's topmost team at the moment, and at the 2022 World Cup they got to the semi-finals and they were eliminated by France. They could meet France again at the World Cup because France are in pot 1, Morocco are in pot 2. There's also another interesting matchup that could happen for Morocco, and that is the match between themselves and Portugal. They eliminated Cristiano Ronaldo's Portugal courtesy and Nesri's goal at the 2022 World Cup that ultimately pushed Portugal out of the competition in the quarterfinals. One interesting game that could have happened is Croatia, but unfortunately they have Croatia in their group and cannot meet them. Let's move on to Egypt. Yes, Egypt to make a return to the World Cup. Unfortunately, they could see just one of the matches that they've played already, and that is against Uruguay, because they've been missing from this particular tournament. Making a return at the biggest stage, they could play a team they are very much familiar with. Senegal, yes, the Lions of Teranga find themselves in pot 2, same as Morocco, and they could see some interesting matchups. They could meet Brazil again, a side that they've met before. They could also meet another former champion, France, a team they beat during the 2002 World Cup in Korea and Japan. One other interesting matchup that Senegal could also face is the Netherlands. Yes, they could meet the Netherlands again, and also Qatar. They could meet them because Qatar find themselves in pot 3. In pot 3, Tunisia find themselves in here. The Carthage Eagles, many love them for how pragmatic they are. They make a return to the world's biggest stage, and they could also be seeing some interesting matchups. First of it is England. They are familiar foes with England. England are in pot 1. They could also be another team in pot 1 that they've met before, and that is Belgium. Tunisia could face France. Yes, a side they know too well. And then Australia could be another matchup that they've seen already. One other interesting game they could have made is against Panama. They've met them before, but unfortunately, they find themselves in the same pot as them. Staying in North Africa, Algeria, the Desert Foxes haven't been too dominant when it comes to the World Cup, but this could be another World Cup where they could make a claim for themselves on their return. The first matchup that they could see is against Belgium. They could also meet South Korea again, and then they can also meet England. And the same pot, the Elephants of La Côte d'Ivoire, the reigning champions of Africa before the draw is made. The Elephants have interesting nations that they faced before that they could face. They could face Argentina again. Yes, a very tough game that they wouldn't want to see. But they could also face Colombia. They could face Japan again, and they could face Brazil also again. All these are games that could come up for that is the Elephants of La Côte d'Ivoire. Now, looking at South Africa, who make a return after hosting in 2010, they haven't made an appearance, and Hugo Bruce will be leading the Bafana to be getting an interesting one. If you remember that wonderful celebration from Sifiwe Chabalala in the opening game at the 2010 World Cup, you remember that? Yeah. We could be seeing that game again. South Africa against Mexico. They could also be meeting France again. Yes, France is a team they met during the group stages of that particular World Cup. And also in that group in 2010, they could be meeting Uruguay once again. Finally, it's Ghana. Ghana has wonderful history at the World Cup, starting with Brazil. Well, Brazil is a side Ghana lost 2-3 goals to 0 at the 2006 World Cup in the round of 16. Another interesting matchup that could happen for Ghana is against the United States of America, the host. Like I mentioned, any of the African nations could meet USA. One other matchup that could happen for Ghana is against Portugal. Don't forget that Ghana has been meeting Portugal for quite the last 2 times that we've been at the World Cup in 2014. There's also one interesting matchup that could happen, and that is against Australia. Familiar foes for Ghana at the World Cup. Samuel Jan got, very good laughs over Australia in the 2010 World Cup. And then the most dreaded team Ghana doesn't want to hear of, Uruguay in 2010. Luis Suarez, hand up in the air, saving that ball on the line. A red card as Samuel Jan eventually missing the penalty. Terrible. In 2022, Ghana met Uruguay again, and once again, they had a laugh over Ghana. Another penalty missed. It was Yεwu who missed that penalty. Uruguay eventually went on to win that game. If that matchup happens, we'll put red on our heads and be ready for the battle. Well, these are some of the interesting matchups that could pop up from the draw that will happen from the 5th of December in the United.
Yeah, so it's the day of the World Cup draw, the official draw for the FIFA World Cup 2026, taking place at the John F. Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. From a Ghanaian perspective, we are in pot 4, which is the least of all pots. And so the potential that will be drawn against teams like Spain, England, and then that's from pot A, and then teams like South Korea, Japan in pot B, and then some other teams like Norway who are in pot C. So potentially we can have a group with Spain, Norway from pot 3, and then pot 2, Japan or South Korea, or potentially the Americans too want to face Ghana, as I've heard in the social media. So let's see how it goes. It's going to be interesting to view the World Cup draw today. And I'm optimistic. I know Ghana will get out of the group stage. Whichever group we find ourselves, we will be strong enough to get out of the group stage. I'm just hoping that the GFA can actually do their due diligence, call in the right players who are actually committed to the cause of the Black Stars, not players who just want to use the Black Stars as a stepping stone to greater heights in their club career. These are some of the things that have plagued Ghana in years past, where players come and play for the Black Stars just because they want to use it as a stepping stone to further their club career or earn better contracts with their club. So we'll be eagerly anticipating this World Cup draw. So go Black Stars, go. Let me know what groups or what opponents you want to see Ghana face or drawn with for the 2026 World Cup. Have a good day.